Hello guys, welcome to Synfurist. I'm your host. As 2019 is coming to an end, I think it's a really good idea to go through some of the watches that I wore this year and show you the ones that I enjoyed wearing the most. What's on my wrist today? I am wearing an Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon, so-called vintage because of various references to the vintage styling, like a brown leather strap which is not on the watch presently, also brown hour markers. The first watch that I remember wearing was my Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch with sapphire crystal. It's partially because I like vintage stuff and this Omega is a perfect sweet spot between new and old. The watch comes in a huge box with all the accessories like spare straps, Omega magnifying loupe, spring bar tool and all sorts of things. I bought that watch probably in the beginning of this year and I simply enjoyed it. I was wearing it with various straps, as you can see here. For Omega I had around 20 different straps that I could just swap around and test everything I wanted. The pinnacle of this year would be Omega Speedmaster, not just the Moonwatch. However, Moonwatch is the most classic one. I'd say that's my favorite watch of this year. Even though it's not the most expensive one, there are plenty of different watches that I wore in 2019 and they were as good, if not better, than the Speedmaster. A few months ago I sold my Speedmaster only to replace it with a Speedmaster Moonwatch, not just a normal Moonwatch, a Speedmaster Tintin. It's called Tintin because of the circle running around the dial, which is white, red, checkered circle. If you are into Speedmasters, then Tintin is the way to go, and also this watch is almost twice as expensive as the normal Speedmaster Moonwatch, so it was a huge upgrade and I had to part exchange my first sapphire crystal Moonwatch in order to fetch that Tintin and just walk away with a new timepiece. The only thing I don't like about Speedmasters is the new style bracelet. It's highly uncomfortable. If I'm honest with you, I just prefer wearing my watches on straps. As you can see here, I am wearing a black NATO strap with this Dark Side of the Moon. There are plenty of different watches. Tintin is the most special one because of this circle running around the dial. The watch is getting more and more collectible. Investment wise, it proves to be a nice watch to be in your collection. Besides this Dark Side of the Moon, I've got a Rolex GMT-Master 2, reference 116710LN. I was wearing these two watches during the Christmas time and they turned out to be very decent. Watch number 2. Watch number 2 I would say is Rolex GMT-Master 2, reference 116710, however not plain black but Batman. I wore this watch quite a few times. On watchchinese.com you can find my article about me flying with the Batman to Munich. I just like the look of it when traveling. The blue and black when you are in the skies, you just want something that pops. And the thing I like about Rolex GMTs and Submariners, even though they might be a bit boring for some people because you get to see them every day on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram, and they are featured everywhere. I don't know, I just like the watch because it's so reliable. You have 24-hour time zone as well if you want to use it when traveling. There is not much that can go wrong with the watch. The watch is so bulletproof and you are confident that it won't fall off your wrist accidentally. The Oyster bracelet is comfortable. When you are traveling, the last thing you want to be experiencing is discomfort connected with your timepiece. That should bring you a joy and happiness. Third watch is going to be also GMT-Master 2, however the new updated 126710 BLRO, so-called Pepsi. This is my favorite Rolex when we talk about modern stuff. Beautiful Jubilee bracelet. It gives you a perfect comfort when wearing it every day. It's light, nicely balanced, it sits on the wrist as it should, and these colors, they simply pop. Some people they say they don't like the color accuracy on the Pepsi. However, I am not bothered with these opinions. I love the timepiece. It is an amazing watch. I think I want to get one in the near future, but who knows? Who knows, guys? You are probably aware of the waiting lists on Rolex and Patek Philippe watches, so it's not gonna be as easy as buying an Omega and paying retail price. No, I don't think so. The thing I like about Rolex is sometimes they can introduce some colors into plain black classic combinations like Submariner Date or GMT-Master 2. Fourth watch is going to be Patek Philippe, and it's not just a Patek Philippe that you see every day or a classic Calatravas. No, this is a whole different thing. We are talking about a travel time, reference 5524G. I think I've done an article when I took this watch for a walk in the park, and I wrote whole story about that. You can see some nice photos from the park if you head over to watchonits.com. And the thing I like about this timepiece is it's made of white gold. It keeps this Patek Philippe luxurious profile. Majority of people, they find this watch being not Patek Philippe enough. That's what makes this watch so interesting in my opinion, because some of you might say this is not a real Patek Philippe. I do like the watch because of its oversized hour markers and this blue grainy dial that simply pops, and also with this timepiece you've got a travel time function. Initially I didn't know how to use it properly. When I first started to get watches for my reviews like Aquanaut travel time, I simply didn't know how to use it. However, after 20 minutes of browsing through the manual, I just learned how to do it. This function is brilliant and really useful when you're traveling a lot. When you are not using the GMT function, you can simply hide the GMT hand just behind the normal hand and it becomes your normal daily wear. Despite its weight, because it's made of 18K white gold, I think this brown strap, it just balances this whole weight and makes this watch more wearable. The case size of that Calatrava is 42mm, so that's a quite odd one, I must confess. And now it's time to mention the fifth watch, which is going to be, I think, one of the most surprising watches that I've ever bought. Is the Omega Speedmaster MK40 triple calendar. And the history of this watch, I think I bought it off one of the auctions in UK. I paid something around £1,700 for it. No one was bidding on it, and this watch is quite surprising, partially because the Houdinki model of the Speedmaster Moonwatch is based on this Speedmaster MK40 triple calendar. For me, this watch was quite too small to my liking. However, I really like the dial on it. The great patina from 1995 is the thing that you just want to see in person and just experience it. And this triple calendar has basically everything you need in your timepiece. It has your full calendar, so function wise you'll get the most out of wearing this watch. And also I just like the colors, different accents that you can notice: red, orange, blue, and all sorts of shades. Now it's time for the next watch, and the next watch is going to be a Submariner Date, reference 16610, so-called Kermit. Remember when I mentioned to you that I'm a huge fan of colors in Rolex watches, and this watch is not any different. I do like the Kermit because of its shiny green bezel insert. This watch is just perfect. It's pre-ceramic, it features a maxi dial. This watch, it commands a huge premium on pre-owned market. Right now the watch is available to be purchased from around 12 to 15,000 pounds depending on condition. I love Kermit because it looks like your normal Submariner Date. However, if you are into watches and you stop by someone who is also into watches, he would know what Kermit means in the terminology of Rolex. And this difference, the maxi dial and green bezel insert, it changes everything for me. As much as I find Submariner date pre-ceramic an interesting starting watch, Kermit is like a whole new level. Next watch is Rolex Daytona 116520. That's the classic pre-ceramic stainless steel bezel version. Rolex Daytona, I've been into Daytona watches since the very beginning, same as the GMT-Master 2 watches. I was quite into chronograph watches, how they work. The beauty of classic Daytona is that the chronograph function is so unclustered and easy to read. This is the most versatile watch that you can get, if you ask me. The prices are also a bit from another level. If I had unlimited budget and I could have only one watch for the life, I would probably look around for a Rolex Daytona. It's incredibly comfortable on the wrist. I like the very smooth and roundy edges on Daytona. I think that's the difference. On Daytona watch you'd find plenty of polished surfaces. On this one, the polished surface is the center links and side of the case as well. Whereas on Daytona watch, the whole case is polished, as I'm not mistaken. And the watch, it can withstand basically everything. I took this watch to an aqua park when I was just on my holiday, and the watch was just brilliant. I was cycling, I was swimming, I was doing all sorts of things, all sorts of activities that are reckoned quite extreme actually for wearing a luxury timepiece. Okay, next one is going to be an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak chronograph. The watch has a 41mm case, and the thing with Audemars Piguet watches and me, I don't like them because they are uncomfortable as hell. However, they look brilliant on the wrist, especially when you are posting your photos on Instagram. Then an AP watch will look brilliant. And I think that's the only thing I want to say about this timepiece. It's uncomfortable as hell, the movement is unreliable. Even though it's a sports watch, the movement, in my opinion, looks like it's made for a dressy watch. But the watch looks nice, so who cares? And then it's time for some more grail watches that I would like to share with you guys. So the first one is Patek Philippe Wartime 5131R in rose gold, as the reference suggests. When I got to wear this watch for a while, it was just a few minutes because the watch is just ridiculous. The hand painted dial is just incredible. I mean, this watch is a real work of art. I'm a huge fan of the model by itself. I like the 5110 and other wear times. However, this one is just a top-notch timepiece that you can buy from Patek Philippe. And also, I think, as I am not mistaken, this watch sells for over the retail price. It proved to be a great investment actually. Yeah, I am quite surprised and I love the watch to death. That's one of my grail watches of all times. Okay, the next watch is also Patek Philippe. However, that's the watch that people crazy about in social media and also on pre-owned market. And I'll be talking about Patek Philippe Aquanaut 5164. That's the travel time function. As with every Patek Philippe watch that I mentioned, the beauty of them is weight, precision and the finishing on it. The thing I like about Aquanauts is the finishing on the dial. They call it black embossed dial. However, when you look at the watch closer, you can see some slight reflections and also the color changes into brown, so it's like, I wouldn't call this dial black. However, that's how they call it, so that's what it is. I like travel time complication, I like Aquanaut, so the combination of these two is just brilliant. The watch feels slightly different than a normal Aquanaut because it's a bit chunkier. You have two additional buttons to set your travel time function and play with it. You'll also get a complication stylus to adjust the date wheel manually. 5164 is on my list of watches that I want to get in the future. It's one of my grails that I want to get. Okay, time to wrap this video up. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching me in 2019, And please like, subscribe to Synfurist, and stay tuned for more. Bye!